They did it. They finally did it. They ruined the Punisher Plasma. And I can't even enjoy the update because that was my favorite primary. I've been a Punisher Plasma main since it was released, since the Malevolent Creek days. And now it's gone. Everything that was magical and interesting about the weapon is gone. Maybe I'm being a little hyperbolic, but it does hurt to see such an unnecessary change. And you know what? I knew it. When I was reading those patch notes and I saw Punisher Plasma, my heart sank because I knew that they were messing with forces that they didn't understand, like Aladdin in the Cave of Wonders. And not for nothing, the Punisher Plasma was one of the most misunderstood weapons in Helldivers 2. I would constantly see it placed mid-tier simply because people didn't understand the value that it brought. Mostly because I think people mostly only think in terms of DPS. And I do want to make a video about why the Punisher Plasma was an S-tier bot weapon, especially compared to the Jar 5 Dominator, which I believe is overrated, at least amongst YouTubers. Good, but still overrated. But the question some of you might be asking, what's wrong with the new Punisher Plasma? Well, I'm glad you asked. First and foremost, the arc of the actual projectile was taken away, which, mind you, is a feature or was a feature that was exclusive to the Punisher Plasma, which meant you can use it in interesting ways, like a pocket mortar cannon, a portable plasma grenade launcher, which means you can do things like attack the enemy at varying elevations, attack the enemy from behind hard cover, and way lesser talked about, you could kill a Hulk from the front if it's damaged enough. Now, I'm not the type of player that is aspiring to have weapons in their arsenal that are completely OP. I think the creativity behind certain weapons is what draws me into a game like Helldivers. But now what we have is effectively 3 of the same plasma weapons. 3 very standard plasma DMR style weapons. And I can't quite put my finger on what's different about the projectile, but I want to say that the projectile that it shoots are smaller. Because before you could hit enemies very easily, but now it seems like the hitbox is shrunk with the new Punisher Plasma. Because from what I can tell, it used to shoot these like softball sized projectiles, meaning you really weren't missing a lot of shots. And you were also staggering larger groups of enemies. With the Punisher Plasma before the update, I was staggering 4 or 5 Devastators at the same time, which I'm not really doing right now. And wait, it gets worse. The projectile speed is actually slower now. Now it moves like a snail covered in molasses. And from what I was reading in the patch notes, it was meant to be a characteristic that applies to all plasma weapons, but it really only seems to affect the Punisher Plasma. The Scorcher and the Purifier seem to be shooting pretty straight, which they point out in the patch notes. They said that the projectiles are still going to move at different speeds depending on the weapons. So this to me just seems like a very roundabout explanation for why they wanted to nerf the Punisher Plasma, but without them coming out and just saying, hey, yeah, we nerfed the Punisher Plasma. It's a very odd change. It's something that no one was really asking for. I think if anything, people were just asking for maybe 1 or 2 more shots in the mag. And I don't think it's just me either. I've read some comments on the subreddit. Here's one that says, was a Punisher Plasma main for months before this update, which nerfed it pretty bad. Its range is pretty bad now, and the hitbox on the projectiles are significantly smaller, making it easier to miss targets. So to me, this is one of those if you know, you know situations. But yeah, I thought the Punisher Plasma was great as it was. I think maybe a couple extra shots just in the interest of having it balanced with all the new and improved plasma weapons would be great. But mostly I'm just looking for a revert. It just would be a shame to remove one of the biggest primary weapon personalities from this game. If you feel like the Punisher Plasma was ruined, I need you guys to do your thing, share this video, and also hit Arrowhead up on all of their socials and their contact forms, whatever means of communication where they listen, and let them know, giving them the feedback. The good news is they seem very open to suggestions and change, and we can tell because the game is in a way better place than it was before. In fact, generally speaking, I think the last couple patches were great. It's just a shame that it cost me my favorite primary. All right, that's all I got for today. Peace.